Sue Murphy, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Very well. Time for our television picks. Every week we go through what's new, what's old and what's the update. So where are we starting this morning when it comes to the new and shiny thing?
I think the big release this week is, and probably the one that everyone's going to be watching this weekend, is Nomadland, which is going to go on to Disney. Picked up quite a few Oscars over at Sunday. On Sunday, Frances McDormand being one of the most important ones, and Chloe Zhao, who picked up. She's only the second woman to win a Best Directing Oscar, which is really obviously disappointing, but it's moving in the right direction. I feel really...
Catherine Bigelow's the other, is it Hurt Locker?
Yes, Catherine Bigelow's the other, yeah. And somebody who, after she won, James Cameron said she should have did that film in 3D, which was a lovely congratulations. Anyway, what a guy. But
Nothing is better in 3D.
Nothing is better. Well, he was going through that Avatar, everything has to be in 3D. Why would you go to the cinema if it's not in 3D phase? But imagine watching The Hurt Locker in 3D. It just would have been absolutely awful. And it was a brilliant film. Like, imagine saying something like that about our film. Anyway, that's it. I can go on a whole James Cameron rant for about 6 days, so we won't do that. Nomadland. I hate saying this, but I was a little bit disappointed with it. I've been waiting for this for quite a while. I mean, anything Frances McDormand is in is just absolutely incredible. She is an amazing actress, and she is brilliant in this. But it just... I think it speaks a lot to our times at the moment. It's somebody that kind of has the same kind of cycle in her life. She doesn't see a lot of people. She's homeless, but she likes to say that she doesn't. It's not that she's without a home. She's houseless, and there's a group of RVs that kind of move around the country, and she works for Amazon towards Christmas, and she has different things throughout her year. But she lives a very solitary life. Like, even there's a bit in it where the RV group kind of go off together, and she decides not to go with them. It's very her by herself on the road, or encountering people. Like, there's long sections of this where she's not having a conversation with anyone. It's it's shot beautifully, but I just felt like it wasn't giving me enough. And I thought there was a lot of hype around this film, huge amount of hype. And you kind of feel bad saying that it wasn't great. Like, this was made in 5 million. The box office has been absolutely incredible for it, which is brilliant, because you want those kind of films still being made. Yeah. But it just, like, I know Shane is a big fan, and every time I say that I don't like this, I feel like I'm personally insulting people, because a lot of people have a personal connection with this film. But
well, here's the thing: there's been like a couple of different layers to the dislike for it. Like, I haven't seen it yet. My friends all say it's absolutely fantastic. They all loved it. But yeah, I've seen people on Twitter on Sunday night saying this is the worst Best Picture winner since Crash. Now that is an absolute beatdown of any film. Shane Hannon, though, you disagree with that completely.
That is ridiculous. Carry on. Whoever said that just shouldn't be allowed to watch a movie ever again, Owen. It's like when someone turns around and says Breaking Bad. I didn't like Breaking Bad. I would unfriend someone, not just on social media.
That's understandable.
That's understandable, of course. But it's not quite to the extent of that when someone says to me they don't like Nomadland. But I have to say, what a movie. I really liked it. You mentioned the cinematography, Sue, and like, there's parts of it shot in Badlands National Park and parts of South Dakota and the lovely winding roads in California. If you're a fan of sunsets, I think you'll like Nomadland, because there's plenty of sunsets and deep...
Loads of sunset. Loads of lovely screensavers.
Yeah, but like, the fact is that this one, it's so true. It's real. It's very real. And there are real-life nomads. Swanky, I think, is the name of one of them. Linda May, Bob Wells. They appear as fictionalized, I guess, versions of themselves. But they're not actors, they're just actual nomads. And Frances McDormand, you can tell there's a lovely scene where she's in a golf buggy just chatting to Swanky, I think it is. And you can tell it's real. You can tell that they weren't fully aware that the camera's just been shooting for 20, 30 minutes, and they've just caught this lovely moment. She's just, like, I read a great interview with Frances McDormand in the New York Times a couple of days ago. And she made that great wolf sound when she got to the stage after winning the award at the weekend, or when maybe it was after they won the Best Picture. But she lives in this really rural town somewhere in America, speaks to everyone down the main street. Nobody bothers her. This is a woman who's won 3 Best Actress Oscars now. And she just is this person who, I always wondered how she was in so many Coen Brothers movies. Turns out she's married to Joel Coen, so that explains that. But like, she's extraordinary. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri was one of my favorite films a couple of years ago. Everyone remembers her performance in Fargo as well. And she's one of these actresses you don't even feel like she's acting. You feel like it's just a a version of herself. Yeah, exactly. But like, I understand what you're saying, Sue, about the movie, and I was quite conflicted. You know, you're quite conflicted at times. You're like, it's this really sad existence, this nomad existence, but it's also one that brings warmth, and that's the thing that kind of stood out for me. That you leave yourself thinking, this is actually quite lovely. That, you know, moving away from social media, from the rat race of the modern world, just drop it all and go. We all love the thought of doing that, but doing it is another thing altogether. So it's this kind of unassuming movie, but I'd rate it very highly. And Owen, whoever said it was the worst Best Picture Oscar winner since Crash, they can do one.
Yeah, I agree. Green Book is the worst since Crash.
I liked Green Book. It's not the best picture, but it was a good film.
Give us your pre-peak Frances McDormand then. What are we saying, Shane? Is this her peak in your perspective, or are you going back somewhere?
Like this will probably, when you look back on her career, like Fargo will be seen as almost a breakout role, but this could actually be seen. Now, obviously, she's undoubtedly going to be in a lot more good movies over the coming years, but this could be seen as one of her defining roles. Three Billboards was one that everyone will remember for cult reasons, but I just absolutely love Nomadland. I love the message it sends. It's quite emotional at times as well. And if you want to switch your brain off, enjoy the cinematography. Yeah, there's not much dialogue in it, as Sue mentioned, but just some of the realness of it. It just feels like a proper story that it takes you places you don't really expect, and a lot of that is down to Frances McDormand's acting. And you know, I think only Katharine Hepburn now has more Best Actress Oscars than Frances McDormand, and that kind of speaks volumes. So she makes the movie, and she's just an extraordinary talent, I think.
I mean, it's a big deal, like, for someone like that to still be working. Like, when you think about, because women are always cast in those roles, even when they're in relationships and films, they're always young actresses. Like, for her to continue working and still making these amazing films is just sending such an amazing message to all the younger actresses coming up. She is just incredible. Like,
what's her peak for you, Sue?
Oh, I love Three Billboards. I'm a big fan, and it's based on a true story as well. I actually listened to the case file recently about that story, and I just think it's so raw. And I love that scene where the little lamb comes up to her. I think it's a lamb or a goat comes up to her just under the billboard, and it's this lovely moment. She's just like, she can do so much on screen without saying a word, and that's incredible acting. Like, she's so good.
I think Burn After Reading gets a very hard time when it comes to life in general. I think she's absolutely fantastic in that. We've got another new and shiny thing, though, that we need to talk about, a documentary this week, Sue.
Yeah, it's going to be out tomorrow on Sky. It's on Sky Docs tomorrow night, and it'll be out now. I feel like I really have to warn people about this because it's very hard going. It's a documentary called Exterminate All the Brutes. It's a guy called Raoul Peck who has the best voiceover voice you will ever hear in your entire life. It's so gravelly, it's amazing. But he basically tells his own life story about how he moved from Haiti to the States and how he experienced racism throughout his life. And this is basically a story of white supremacy. And he's trying to tie and just kind of get to the bottom of racism and white supremacy in America and how this all ties together. He's back as far as 1536 and comes all the way up and hops all around the place. I've never seen a documentary like this. It is like a stream of consciousness. It's like, and then I'm going to think about this, and then I'm moving over here. But you're so fascinated by everything that he's telling you that it's just so engaging. Now, I will say at 29 minutes, I had to pause it and go, okay, I just need to take a moment. Because it's so many images and videos of extreme violence and like situations where women are being treated really badly. Like the imagery at the end of the first episode is quite difficult to watch. But honestly, I think this is probably one of the best. It's one of those ones that you feel like you should tell people they need to watch it. You know, you need to go see this. Because there's one bit where they talk about Native Americans and they're like, how unbelievable is it that these people who lived in America suddenly were invaded, and then the story was turned that they were the ones that attacked other people? Like, how did we come to believe that? And it's absolutely fascinating. I really would really recommend. It's so current. It's so, like, educate yourself in something like that. It's brilliant. Honestly, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, they're pushing it mad on Sky at the moment, and it does look fantastic.
And it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it.
Exterminate All the Brutes. That's on Sky Docs. Moving on to what's old here next, Sue, unless you got anything else that's new.
I think that was it. Sorry, did I mention that that Nomadland was on Disney? I don't know if I said that. That's it's on all the Disney channels for tomorrow. Yeah, the old pick for this week, the new series of The Handmaid's Tale is coming. on the 6th of May. And I was a huge fan. Like, I'm a big fan of the book. I was a big fan of the book before I saw the series. Huge fan of the series. I think the first 2 series of Handmaid's Tale are incredible TV. I think Elizabeth Moss is amazing in it. If you haven't seen it, it's a totalitarian society called Gilead, where the States used to be. And it's these women who were fallen women who are basically able to have children, and they have to continue on the race. And it's very, like, if you haven't seen it, it's really difficult to watch in parts. But brilliant drama. Like, you're all at the end of every series, you're always on the edge of your seat going, what? Now to wait a year for this to come back. So, like, I actually would rewatch it. It's a rewatch for me. I love Elizabeth Moss in it, but I just think it's if you haven't seen it, please do go watch it, because it's well worth your time. I was a bit disappointed the last series because they started to move from them being, if this is a bit of a spoiler alert, they're starting to rebel. So you're kind of just getting the start of the rebellion, but it feels like her change in character is massive. So I kind of wasn't on board with the last series, but I'm hoping they're going to rectify it over the 4th, because the end of the book is incredible. And I'm hoping they're going to be able to bring that through in the series.
Yeah, it's not like television shows of a very high profile have struggled after trying to follow the book or stray away from the book in the past at any point. So that's encouraging. No. That's out May the 6th. That's a good shout, actually, to go back and rewatch it before that comes on stream. Then the update. You are all over Line of Duty, Sue.
I think I have gone to, like I said this last week, like, I've reached such a level of obsession around Line of Duty now. But why not? Like, I mean, Adrian Dunbar is having the career renaissance of his life, because I just love him. He was all these character actors in all these Irish and English films, and now suddenly everyone was watching this series because he's in it. Like, if he's not in another series, like, I actually think they'll spin off and they'll just change the department and he won't be in it anymore. And if he's not in it anymore, I don't think I'm going to watch it, because he is amazing as Hastings. But the next episode for this week is basically the end. The trailer looks unbelievable. Like, they're tying all the plots together. The production values in this, so they were saying in the trailer, every plot is led to this point. So everything we've been trying to figure out over the last 10 years of this series is just going to be revealed. Right. And we're finished series 1 now. Again, we went back and watched series 1, so we're watching that at the same time, just trying to figure out, because I don't think you've seen it yet, but it's such a maze of characters, so many characters who all have important roles, and this is just brilliantly laid. Like, Jed Mercurio's mind of how he laid this out is unbelievable. Like, occasionally there's a kind of a, what the hell is that person doing? But you don't care about that, because you're like, oh, the next scene is this van chase, let's watch that. Yeah. So it's brilliant. It's just really good TV, and I love the way everyone's engaging with it every week. That's just brilliant.
Shane Hannon, are you on the Line of Duty buzz, or what are you on at the moment?
I feel dramatically like I'm missing out because I haven't yet watched it, and it's been recommended to me by so many people, and I've just got to the point now where I'm like, okay, I need to watch it, but I also need to avoid spoilers this week if I'm going to start it, because it's only like 6 episodes per season, I think, which is fairly manageable. I like it. Yeah. My like, is that what it is, Sue? 6?
Yeah, it's five in the first few, and then it was 6, and this one was 7 because they shot a 90-minute episode. So this one's 7, which is a big deal.
Only 33 episodes actually in total. So
you could easily get through it.
That's not too bad. Like, my mum has recommended the Ted Hastings phrases that she said a few of them to me, like, now we're sucking diesel. What was it? Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and the wee donkey.
The wee donkey, yeah.
Like,
Mother of God is his favourite.
Mother of God.
You're waiting for them as well.
Yeah, he's got these Nordy phrases, so he's kind of representing the Nordy phrases on the screen over in England. I'm sure the people in England are confused at what he's talking about, but that's one on my list. Like, I can only echo what was Joseph on last week talking about Sherpa, the film on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Like, my God, I watched it last night, guys, and like, I know it's from 2015. It's not exactly a new film, but anyone who hasn't seen Sherpa on Netflix, throw it on. It's about the 2014 Mount Everest ice avalanche, and this Furba Tashi, this Sherpa, they follow him around, and Russell Bryce, one of the expedition leaders, and it just extraordinary the sacrifices these guys make in terms of their family and the dangers that they come across on the Khumbu icefall, and then of course the disaster that was 2014 on the mountain, and what came of that, and the Sherpas kind of standing up for themselves and refusing to climb anymore until their demands were met by the Nepalese government. So throw on Sherpa on Netflix if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good shout. That comes highly recommended by all accounts. The one thing I'm just going to throw into the mix this week, Seaspiracy. I know everybody's probably watched it at this point.
I haven't been able to.
Shane,
I'm terrified.
I haven't seen it. Like I've heard a couple of conflicting reports in terms of the scientific accuracy of some of the. There was a piece in the Guardian last week about it, but I haven't seen it, so I can't comment really on it.
Yeah, well, I haven't done my research on the research that they did in the documentary in terms of scientific accuracy. But if you are gullible like me and get quickly affected by something that you watched, Seaspiracy will take you down a rabbit hole that you possibly don't want to go down. I love fish. Fish is one of my favourite foods in the world. I love all sorts of fish.
That's the quote from this morning. I love fish.
No, it's good for you. I enjoy every single element of fish. I've never had fish and thought, oh, that's not great. It is all really, really nice. I haven't eaten fish since I've watched Seaspiracy. Now, that may have only been...
I've heard that so many times, and that's what terrifies me. I don't want to give up fish.
That may have only been 4 days ago, but I've gone 4 full days without eating fish. There is a tin of tuna in my cupboard at home, which I'm looking at, and I'm like, not today, sonny boy, not today. And it's got the responsibly sourced logo on it, and I'm like, I know a thing or two about you, responsibly sourced logo. I've seen Seaspiracy. You are fake.
Like a lot of these shows kind of have. I know the Cowspiracy one was similar. That they have. I guess the filmmakers have a narrative they want to put across, and they have a result that they want to happen. So, like out of this one, Owen, do they just want people to stop eating fish? Is it overfishing is the issue here?
Correct. Their bottom line is that there is no sustainable answer to the crisis that is affecting our oceans at the moment. That yes, pollution is bad for the ocean, but fishing is worse for the ocean. It is completely messing up the entire biodiversity. The food chain has been destroyed by the fishing industry on a global scale, and it is getting worse. It is continuing to get worse. And the only answer is to stop eating fish. There isn't a sustainable answer to fishing. This is according to the documentary. Now, I must read the Guardian article and educate myself on the other side of the story, especially when I've got a hankering for a tuna and sweet corn sandwich. But from what I've seen in the documentary, there is no answer to this. So very grim indeed. But will my favourite food actually win out in the end? Time will tell.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned indeed. Sue Murphy, great stuff as ever. Thanks a million.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.